Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? Indy here. And yeah, today we are starting a new series. I'm calling it Been There, Done That. So, welcome to episode 1. This is more of a kind of a podcast style, just storytelling segment where I'm talking about like the different things that goes on in running a business and running a coffee business and just entrepreneurship in general. And yeah, I'm excited, super excited to start this series, just because there's a lot of things about being a business owner that I feel that a lot of people just aren't talking about. A lot of people may not even have the time to really reflect on all of the things they've been doing. So I'm going to take it upon myself to try and just give more relatable scenarios and just let everybody know like what's going on. Yeah, keep it easy. So yeah, what's going on, everybody? Indy here. Today on Being There, Done That, we're talking about how I built a coffee brand from scratch. As you know, I run a company called Hold Me Closer XX. It started as a film and photography shop and business, but later on kind of developed into a more of a coffee business, pretty much. Before we kind of dive into all of it right now, I'm just going to give a little bit of backstory. So I got this commercial space in July of 2024. I was working on like doing some woodworking and some home goods. I made like some planter pots and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the building management here at my unit, they saw that I had a coffee cart in my unit, and I was doing coffee here for my clients, for myself, stuff like that. And there was the idea that they wanted to have a cafe for the complex here. Just because there's a lot of artists here, there's shows here, a lot of stuff that's happening here at the Russell. So they asked me if I wanted to do a pop-up downstairs, kind of in the front parking lot. And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try it out. It's something fun, something that I was curious about, but just didn't really think I was going to execute on because I was so focused on photography and video and cinema stuff, right? So, yeah, pretty much long story short, I started the pop-up there, or here, I guess. And, 2 months later, I was already in contract with another restaurant to bring coffee service there, which is Yum Village, right there on Woodward. And, yeah, the rest is history. So, pretty much, yeah, so when I got offered this opportunity to do the pop-up, this is like the beginning of October. So pretty much once I said yes and everything, I only gave myself about 2 weeks to get everything solidified and dialed in, because I had already planned my grand opening reception for my my camera shop, and I was thinking like, yeah, might as well just do coffee for that weekend on that Friday. So I had my grand opening Wednesday, October 16th, and I had planned to do the first pop-up October 18th on that Friday. So gave myself 2 weeks, right? Because why not? Anyways, so when I wanted to keep the name Hold Me Closer XX because I had already kind of announced it. I had already started developing like the logos and stuff like that. And I wanted it to be kind of like the bigger picture brand where everything kind of fits within that, right? For this stuff. I do 2 businesses, right? I have a corporation that has 2 businesses underneath it. So I have Important Jogger, which is my filming, cinema, and photography. And then I have Hold Me Closer XX, which is my lifestyle brand that encompasses the coffee business. I'm going to eventually do some clothing and continue to do like the home goods and stuff like that, right? So that's what I got going on. And for Hold Me Closer, I wanted to keep it like something, for the idea of the lifestyle brand is to kind of take a step back, take some more time and hold things a little bit more precious to your life, right? So for a cup of coffee, why not just have a logo? I was thinking to myself, why not have a logo of just some hands, like holding the cup of coffee, because this is how I hold my cup of coffee sometimes when I'm like savoring it. It's like, oh, it's so good, such a good cup, all that kind of stuff. So I designed the logo based off of that, right? And then another thing I was thinking, right? So there's in Detroit alone, not even just in the nation here, in Detroit alone, there's over like 120 different coffee shops and cafes in existence already, right? This is before I even thought about doing the coffee business. And that's kind of one reason why I was hesitant to even think about doing a coffee business, because the market's already so saturated and there's a lot of coffee carts, a lot of people doing it. It's like a trend, you know what I mean? Which is great. Good for me. It ended up being good for me. So anyways, what I wanted to do was not just do your basic espresso, cortado, a latte, and a cappuccino and stuff, and mocha, right? Because they're simple. It's not that they're bad drinks. I just wanted to bring something more unique. So I decided to do all specialties, like solely only specialty coffees. It's all going to be single origin espresso beans, roasted locally here. It's always going to be like a curated like menu and my set menu. And what I wanted 2 hot drinks and 2 cold drinks, just to kind of hit all the bases, hit all the type of flavor profiles that I can. For the cart, I was thinking like, yeah, there might be non-coffee drinkers as well. And so I decided to bring some teas. I did a Earl Grey tea and a lemon green tea. And then I had grabbed like a handful of energy drinks for those who don't want tea, want like an energy drink for later. It's kind of like an upsell thing. So I grabbed like a handful of the what is that brand? Celsius, So it worked out. I had offerings for pretty much every single person that I felt like I would come across, right? So now that the main concept of the coffee business was sorted out, pretty much I had to figure out the operations at that time. Okay, and I had just like a small amount of money. I spent the majority of it on the espresso machine and the grinder, which that ended up being around like $2,500, right? And so I didn't have much left to do everything else. I had bought a RV refrigerator that was 50 liters that you can plug in, keep my milks cold, syrups and stuff like that in there. And then I needed to get the water system to go from the 5-gallon jug into the espresso machine. So I did some research. I found this other coffee cart that they had, I forgot the name of it, so I wish I could tag them. But I saw that they were using like a water pump that works with the 5-gallon jug specifically. That goes from the water pump into a water pressure accumulator, so we can keep water pressure for when I'm using my pitcher rinser and cup rinser and stuff like that, right? And so we can have like actual water flowing. Going from water source into the pump, into the accumulator, out of the accumulator, split as a Y to the pitcher rinser, and then a refill hose to my espresso machine. Because of course I didn't do enough research. I'm only human, so I ended up buying an espresso machine that was unable to be plumbed in. It just only had the reservoir, and I just had to make it work. You know what I mean? All right, so that was that. I bought the actual original cart piece from Amazon. I hate Amazon, but convenience, kind of had to like weigh out my options, and that was the most convenient and most accessible for me at the moment. So I ended up spending like maybe $120 on the original cart itself. Cut out a little hole for the pitcher rinser, and then that was that, right? And it worked out perfectly for what I needed it to do. I have a new cart now, but we'll get into that another time. That's another video. So got the espresso machine. You know, I had to get some accessories like a grinder, the tamp mat, a few other accessories for like a bar jig for measuring, some stirs, a couple of scoops for like scooping out my drink mixes and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think at this point I only had about a week left, because this is like a week of ordering, waiting for stuff to arrive, and everything kind of arrived all at once. So it was really, really like crunch time, like for that last week. So for a full day of service, I needed to make sure my inventory was on point. So what I wanted to do was, I was measuring everything by ounces. So I ended up going and getting a pack of, how many is that? 3, 6, 9, 12, like 12 pack, a 12 count case of 32 ounce mason jars, the wide mouth mason jars. That's what I wanted to put my drink mixes and my syrups in. So I got a bunch of those. And then at my house, in my kitchen, you know, I just prepped a whole bunch of simple syrup, a whole bunch of my organic Madagascar vanilla syrup. I did ginger syrup. And then I made my mixes, which the first mix was the pistachio cloud. And my second mix was the cozy comfort, which is the brown butter, brown sugar mix that I do. And yeah, just made as much as I could, much as I felt that I could get away with for like 2 days worth of service, you know. And yeah, pretty much I prepped all of the syrups and mixes in a day. I built the cart in about 3 days, you know, out of the 7. Right about 2 days before launching, or 2 days before my grand opening of the camera shop, I tested out all of the drinks and made sure they tasted good and tasted okay, tested the ratios, whatever measurements. That was pretty hectic, but yeah, it worked out. It worked out great, because I just, you know, kept to it, you know, kept focus, kept my mind straight, and just went full blown like production mode, and yeah, made it happen, because I knew this is what I wanted, you know what I mean? And it was definitely hectic. It was a lot of work, but it's not impossible. So I know anybody can do that. If I did it, anybody can do it. You just need a little bit of hope, a little bit of risk taking, and yeah, you can definitely do it, you know? So I appreciate you guys for tuning in to episode 1 of Been There, Done That. I hope you enjoyed this little story that I gave, and a little bit of insight into what it took to get my coffee business going. If you have any questions, you know, leave them down in the comments below. If you want like a full equipment list that I did for this first cart, type cart, mention cart in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.